Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your models will practically build themselves.
Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Mervin. Welcome to today's show. Today I'm going to show you guys some of the projects I've been working on for my Blood Angels Army and for my Nuns with Guns. That's what the Sisters Sororitas, but I like Nuns with Guns a whole lot better. Anyway, I've been working on some a terrain piece, I guess is what you could call it. And I needed some armor to go along with my Blood Angels. Now I will be showing you the Blood Angel army in its entirety at some point in time when I get them finished. They're all table ready, if you will, but they're not to the standard I want to have them at. So for my minis. So we'll get to them one day. But today we're going to show you a couple of pieces of armor that I did, what I used to modify them, and then we're going to show you this piece of terrain I made and how I did it. So stick with Mad Dog Merv as today we look at some of my Warhammer accessories. So today we're going to start out with this Dreadnought that I recently acquired, and you can see somebody had already built it. Turns out they put the legs on wrong and few other things, the missile launcher up top. But anyway, I got it for a decent price, so it's going to need to be painted up in Blood Angels colors. So I will get to that. Now, one of the things that really helped me in all of these builds is this add-on set, Blood Angels. It's got transfers, but it's got these specific for Blood Angels, the Palodrons, but also some of the markings for the vehicles. And you'll notice that partial upper Terminator armor on the right hand side, and I'll get into that in a minute. So here is the Dreadnought, how it turned out. We just sprayed it with Mephiston red and then went ahead and picked out the black and the gunmetal parts. You'll notice that I did the edge highlighting on this. I did it in orange. I think it was Gavilan Sons orange, something like that. And I had to, like I said, the lower parts of the legs, I had to turn those around. When I did that, it turns out one of the pieces was missing. One of the knee guards was missing. So I went ahead and I used this shield that I've got from a Age of Sigmar figure that I don't use, and I decided to put that on for its knee guard. And you can see, used a Sharpie and painted a name up there. Now, I'd like a tank. And sorry, this is a terrible screenshot, but I don't want to spend the money they want for one of these. So I got looking around to see what I had. And I just happened to have a box that had a couple of models in it. Now this build is like over 20 years old, so closer to 25 years old. Came out, actually, when this kit came out right after Desert Storm, I picked it up and built it. I also did a 113 APC, and I did this the Sheridan as well, and it doesn't have the tracks on it. What am I going to do with all of these? Haha! Here's what I'm going to do. So I took the first of the APCs. You can see I put a bolter there in the front, and I used some iconography from that add-on set for my Blood Angels. Went ahead and painted the whole thing in Mephiston red, and that front part of the Terminator armor was perfect to put up in the cupola with a head, and it actually looks like, and that's all there is to him, and it actually looks like he's a full Marine in there. Now keep in mind, these are 1/35th scale tanks, and you see how he turned out fine in there. These are 1/35th scale armor, but because the Space Marines are so large, they seem to be just perfect for this. So here's another look at it. That bolter sticking out of the front, the Gatling gun up front, or on top, I should say. So on my other APC, I went ahead and put a flamer there in the front, and I took the turret off of the M51, the Sheridan,
and went ahead and put that on there. Again, looks very similar to the one that Game Workshop puts out, and for me this is going to be just fine. I pulled off the Ma Deuce and put on this sniper rifle and did the same thing. I had another piece of Terminator armor front, put that in, and voila. I did dry brush this whole thing with kind of an orange color, so you can see the edge highlights on that, but it's again, gave it a wash and dry brush, which is kind of just how I build things. So, and I think he turned out just fine. Put some arms on this guy though. I think he turned out okay. All right, so now I want to build like a statue. And I've done this before in HO scale for a scene in a park. But this time I wanted something that was more of a religious type statue for my army. I found this one. He's about 4.5 inches tall. It was a St. Michael resin. I got him off of Amazon, and I think he's going to work out just fine for what I want to do. For the verdigris, I'm going to use this particular Model Master color. I can't remember what it's called, but you can look at it and see. I do have this Panzer Aces color, U.S. Marine Corps tanker, that's very similar if I wanted to use an acrylic, but not going to on this one. So I took one of these that I got at the craft store for $1 or so that I painted at one time, and I'm going to use that for the first part of the pedestal. And then for a lower pedestal, I'm going to take, and this is like 40 styrene, I'm going to make a flat piece, and well, you'll see how that turns out in a minute. For the color, I'm going to paint it all flat black, and then I'm going to use this gull gray acrylic from Polyscale. It's old as dirt.
Okay guys, it's going to be a little unconventional, but this is what I'm going to do for my base of the statue and for the pedestal, the lower pedestal that it sits on. I'm going to use this light gray RLM 76. It's an old Polyscale paint, so you just have to find an alternative gray that you like in an acrylic. So I did mix it up really good earlier. It's a little separated now. I mean, this paint has got to be, I want to say 94, 95 when I got it. So yeah, it's the fact that it's still good and viable is amazing. But I'm going to use this dry brush, and I'm going to start with just kind of stippling it on here. And I'll show you a couple of different ways of doing this. I'm trying not to go back over it just yet. It is going to dry fairly quick, but I just want to get a good base coat on right now. If I go back over areas, I might pull some of it back up. I don't really want to do that. And I just used my 2X flat black primer and paint on that. Now the other way that I'm going to show you is doing this in circles. And it's, I mean, you can see it's fairly dry. I don't have a lot of paint on there. Okay, there's that way. And then there is just the good old-fashioned brush it back and forth. I'm going to leave a little separation between these. That's obviously going to need more coats. Okay. So we're going to let this dry a few minutes. We'll be right back. All right, this is dried about 5 minutes or so, and I'm going to go ahead and go back over and give it another coat. This time I'm going to try and cover it just a little bit better. Okay, there's the top one. These seem to require more paint. when I do these, but what I want to try to avoid is any real dark areas, but it is what it is. Okay, there's that one. You see it pulled up a little bit of the paint underneath. And finally, this one. Okay, so this is starting to pull up, so I need to stop and come back and give that probably another coat. This probably needs another coat. And this is good. I like it. Or, you know, you can stipple a little on here. It's kind of your preference. Anyway, just kind of a quick and easy, that's how I'm going to do this effect that you're going to see here in just a minute. In my Sisters of Battle set, and remember I got 2 of these now, they each come with a couple of these really neat looking boxes with a little statue in them. And she's holding one of them, and I have an extra one. And then I've got another one that you'll see here in a minute that I've decided to use on this. So here they are, all painted up and put on the base, the lower base of the statue. Took some skulls from the set that I have and put them on there. And I made these little candles just out of some little rod styrene. I got to figure out a way to do a flame, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. I'll probably hold it upside down and probably do some little drops of super glue or something for those. So here it is. You see that effect. Now, here's on the lower pedestal, you can kind of see where I did that circular effect. On the base part, the very bottom, you can see where I did a lot of stippling. All of 3 of those different effects I tried in different spots here. I really like how this turned out. My son said, wow, that's a pretty good marble effect. Well, okay, that's what I was going for. But, you know, whatever. I think it does look good. And then I just took a little base, put him on top of that, and there you go. You can see one of my Sisters of Battle here, how large this is. This is kind of just a fun piece that I plan on using as a piece of terrain when my sons and I play. Or when my son and I play. So anyway, thanks for joining us, folks, and hopefully you got something out of this. We'll see you again soon.